Hey guys, welcome to the channel, Chino's Comics and More, where all we do here is talk about comics, more comics, and you guessed it, more comics. Hit the like button, subscribe, leave a comment. Let's go. Alright guys, welcome to the channel, Chino's Comics and More. I'm here with Manny again. We're going to reveal our 2019, I almost said 2018, our 2019 list of comic books that we want to purchase this year. We have two lists. Manny kind of composed them. Again, we're collecting these books, kind of the same. You know, we're picking up a copy of each book. I'm picking up one, and he's picking up the other one of the same book.
Yeah. So what I did is I basically did most of the research, and I fed the information to Chino, and then he basically gave me his blessing. But I guess to give you guys a backstory. This is for 2019, but what ended up happening in 2018 is we had a list going. We kind of got into it kind of late, so we really didn't follow the list too much. So I think this year we want to narrow it down, and we want to make sure that we do try to stick to the list as much as possible. That way, there's a guideline, and it's more controlled to a certain degree.
Yeah, I think we went a little crazy last year. We just kept going to a lot of different comic book shops. We kept going to
Small conventions,
and we kind of derailed from the list. So I think it's very important to, know what you want to buy, stick to what you want to buy, and budget around that.
Yeah.
So this year we're going to be very firm about sticking with our list. That way we're not overspending, on more books, even though they're good, but that's keeping us from buying these big key books.
Yeah, because we do have two lists. We have this list of 15, I think they're pretty good items. And then we have a list of bigger books that we both want to acquire this year. And if we stick to the list, I think we have a better chance of, one, knocking out this small list, and then two, getting the big books.
And obviously everyone wants to go after the big books.
Yeah.
But again, if you go about this the wrong way, you'll be owing a lot of money. So,
or overspending, because sometimes we're emotional creatures, and you see a book and it's not even on the list, and or maybe you're just going in there blind, and you see a book and it looks good on the wall, and boom, you pull the trigger. Before you know it, you probably overpaid because you didn't do any research.
Yeah, that's me right there. Going to comic book shops and just walking out with something, and that's just impulsive buying. And I think that just came with kind of being away from the game for about 6 years, and then trying to get back into it. I myself became a little bit kind of like trying to play catch up, and it was good. It worked out in some occasions, but then I just picked up a lot of books that even though they're good to own,
they're key issues. You picked up a lot of key issues.
But I could have probably bought one of these other books on the list last year. But
and not only that, I know sometimes we have so many books, you might even forget you own a book, and you see it on the wall, and you're like, man, do I own that book? Maybe I don't. And so you're not sure. So what you end up doing is maybe you end up buying that book. You get home, you check your long boxes, your short boxes. You might even have 2 copies of that damn book.
We need to go over all our books. It seems we have plenty of books that you have at your house, and then what we have here. So I guess we'll start going off the list. Manny will just go off the list. I'm actually participating in an auction, so you'll see me kind of looking down. I'm trying to see if I can pick up one of these books a little early. And then that way I can start, checking them off the list.
All right, so I guess we'll start with number 1. And again, this order is not by the most expensive book or favorite book. It's just a list I came up with. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how we purchase these books and what order. We just want to make sure we try to purchase all these books this year.
Now, and I think before you get into that, Manny, I think what we can tap into is, we'll tell you the book, and then Manny can also tell you kind of why we're doing it. Just give you like a little brief kind of description behind it.
Not only that, this list is our list. It's not going to be the list for every other individual. But if you see something that maybe we missed, leave something in the comments. And of course, we can always adjust. We can always add. We can always take away. So I guess to start this off, the number 1 book I have listed on here is Fantastic Four number 5. That's Dr. Doom's first appearance. I think anything with Fantastic Four is pretty hot right now, but Dr. Doom is probably one of the most iconic villains on their end, and he usually intertwines with the other Marvel characters. So I think if you're going to purchase a book in the Fantastic Four world, I think number 5 is a good book.
Yeah, I think that was one that kind of slipped away this past year.
Yeah.
I think towards the end of the year, I don't know. I guess everybody was thinking the same, and that book just kind of shot up. So that's a good book to have.
Number 2 on the list, I think everyone's pretty familiar with this book too. It's Journey into Mystery number 83. That's Thor's first appearance. I think that book it's a pretty hot book. Thor's a pretty known character, and I think the last movie really did him a good number, because I think he's shot in popularity just because he was pretty good in Infinity War.
Yeah, he actually, I was never really, I mean, I don't want to offend any Thor fans, but I was never really big on Thor. I always prefer the Hulk over Thor, but this last movie where Ragnarok, man, I was sold on the character, and my favorite part of Avengers 4 was actually the whole Thor arc. And obviously, spoilers, you guys saw it at the end. Just every time I watch that movie towards the end, I get chilly bumps, because when he comes, even though I know he's coming in, it's just, man, it's such a bad scene where he just comes in the end and just kind of starts kicking everybody's butt.
Yeah, he goes off. The next book we have on the list is Fantastic Four number 52, which is Black Panther's first appearance. That's a book that honestly has slipped under the radar for us. We wanted to get it last year, but something always popped up, something always came up, and it's a book that I think, the character's he's a really good character. I think the movie's doing him justice. I think this book's gonna keep getting hot, so I think we need to try to eliminate that book as soon as possible so we don't end up overpaying for it.
And that's, if you guys like speculation or whatever the case is, I mean, this guy signed on for multiple movies, so this character is gonna be in the universe for a good while. So once they start eliminating, obviously the older Avengers, this is gonna be a guy that's gonna be around for a while. So you've seen it. As soon as they mentioned him coming out in the movies, this book has gone up in price. So,
and the movie was really good. So
yeah, and his second movie's coming out right after, I think, Avengers Endgame. So not right after, but he's one of the next movies that they're going to release.
That leads me to number 4, which is Strange Tales 110, which is Doctor Strange's first appearance. I think that book, I mean, in reality, I think Doctor Strange, I know he has a second movie coming out, and I mean, he's a pretty cool character. I think for the most part, whenever my son saw the movie, he wanted to be Doctor Strange for Halloween. So I think I guess you can say he kind of blends in good with the adults. The adults like him as a character, and I think kids can kind of relate to him because there's a magical theme to him, per se. So I think he's a pretty good character to pick up.
The wizard, he's the wizard of all the Harry Potter fans. They're going to be tuning in for Doctor Strange.
Yeah, and then after that we have number 5, which is Fantastic Four number 2, which is the Skrulls' first appearance. I think that book's gonna be hot. It's always been hot. I think it has a really cool yellow cover, and I'm a sucker for yellow covers. So that book, I think, it's just a given. If you're gonna buy Doctor Doom's first appearance, might as well get the Skrulls' first appearance. And I know they're coming out in the new Captain Marvel movie. So
yeah, I think they're making their first debut here in the next the movie coming out here in the next few months. I think 2 months from now, 3 months from now. So they're pretty cool villains. So obviously, going into that, if they're going to be coming out here in the next movie, there's a big chance that these guys are going to continue to pop up here and there, because they're also very. If you guys aren't familiar with them, there was an arc, the Secret Wars, where they came out, and they had been here for so many years. So I think if they went in that direction, then that will be a good introduction movie-wise for them, and for them to stick around. And again, this is also early Fantastic Four, man. I think Fantastic Four is going to be something that you got to kind of an eye out for. I think those guys, maybe not here in the near future, but I mean, they're bound to come out here in the Disney platform in the next few years. It just makes sense,
Yeah.
There's so many villains in that kind of world. You have Doctor Doom, you have the Skrulls, you have obviously Galactus, Silver Surfer. It wouldn't make sense not to have them part in the universe, part of the universe.
Yeah, and then after that, we're going to switch it over real quick to a DC comic book that I'm looking at, which is Action Comics 252. That's Supergirl's first appearance. I mean, what else can you say about her? I mean, she's a really good character. I think she has a show going on right now, and I haven't seen the show, but then again, I mean, it's still on TV, so it must be pretty good.
It's hard to keep up with all these shows. I was watching the Arrow verse very early on. I think I stopped at 3 or season 4.
Yeah.
It just gets a little overwhelming with all the different TV shows that are coming out. But yeah, I think Supergirl is definitely a really cool. I mean, she's Superman's cousin, so she basically essentially has all his powers, and she's hot. So I mean, I'd rather go see her than Henry Cavill at the movies.
Yeah, so I mean, and it's a hot book. It's a great book to own. So it's usually on everybody's list for the most part. After that, I have Fantastic Four #4, which is Namor's first appearance. I think with the success of Aquaman, which I think is the #1 selling DC movie overall now, it's a given now. I mean, you might as well bring them out in the Marvel universe.
And I think if you go back on YouTube, research it, or we'll try to find out when and pinpoint. They did mention something in the map in, I think, Avengers 2, where they circled kind of the I think it's Atlantis too, right?
I'm not sure.
Whatever it is. Maybe I'm confusing it a little bit, but they circled an area that pertained to obviously that character, and obviously it just makes sense. This last Aquaman movie did fairly good. I was actually impressed. So
it was a good movie.
So I think these movies, of Marvel and DC, they kind of copy each other. I mean, if you go back into the characters, a lot of them are just different alternative versions of each other, but
different names, but they're pretty similar for the most part.
So I think obviously that's a cool character that might be coming out here in the near future.
The next book I have is Journey into Mystery #85, which is Loki's first appearance. Loki's a fan favorite. I enjoy seeing him on screen. I think they represent him really well. And I think it's just a book that if you're going to buy Thor, you might as well have Loki too.
Yeah, so. and I mean, again, you can't say any. I think if you go back and look at the villains in the actual Disney Marvel universe, Tom Hiddleston, man, he's been killing it. He made that role.
He's consistent.
So he's kind of like to me, I can't see anybody else playing that character. Kind of like I can't see anybody else playing Tony Stark.
Plus, I think there's not a Netflix, but like I guess Disney's having their own streaming service. I think he signed on to be on the show or something like that. A limited
show, yeah. He's gonna come on a limited show, so it's just gonna. Really,
there's more Loki coming, basically.
Yeah, it's really gonna keep him around for a while.
After that, I have #9, which is Justice League #1. It's the first Justice League. At this point, I'm looking at the trend. It looks like a lot of DC books are looking easier to buy into right now. I think Marvel has a lot more heat on their end, so you can get some pretty cool or key issues of DC for really good prices. I feel they're a lot cheaper than Marvel books.
Yeah, and again, we're mixing it in. I mean, we're not biased to any different platform or universe. No. So I mean, we both like DC and Marvel, and I think if you want to keep your budget down, you obviously want to mix in a little bit of DC in there, because again, I mean, they're not very hot as far as selling wise. If you go and look at the trends, they're not nearly where Marvel books are at, but that's when you want to buy these books.
Yeah. After that, I have Tales of Suspense #52, which is Black Widow's first appearance. It's a book that we just never care around owning. I don't own it. I'm not sure if he does, but I put it on my list, and I figured if he doesn't own it, I think we both need to buy into it.
Yeah, and it's a affordable book. Again, we're mixing it in with the big boy books, and this is minor key, kind of still big books in the sense that these characters are.
Well, you know what? A lot of these books, they're not too expensive unless you're trying to buy into like a higher grade. Mm-hmm. So, and I'm okay with certain books. I'm okay with getting a 1.0, 1.5, 2.0. depending on the book, depending on the character, I mean, you don't have to always. I feel you don't have to buy a 5.0, 6.0. If it's out of your budget, it's out of your budget. And why force yourself to get a higher grade? When then again, I mean, most of these books, you're buying them because maybe you love the characters, or maybe you just want to, you know, kind of invest in something that you think has room to grow.
Yeah. So again, I'm with Manny on that. And like anything, all these books, obviously, if you're kind of familiar with how a lot of people collect, is they'll entry level collect and then they'll upgrade in the future. Why? Because it just makes sense. You know, you want to get these books in and then later on just upgrade them.
After that, I have Batman 171, which is the Riddler's first appearance. I'm a big fan of Batman. I love his villains. His Golden Age books are real expensive.
Good luck buying one of those.
Yeah, so I mean, unless
you can if you don't have a big list like this.
Maybe, but even then, they're pretty expensive books. Unless you're born a different time and you could have gotten for a cheaper price. But then again, most of this list is honestly Silver Age books. I think there might be a few Bronze Age books, but most of this is Silver Age. I mean, that's kind of something that we focus on, and I mean, it's just a little more affordable, I guess, to a certain degree. So the Riddler's a really good villain. He even does great in the video games. So he's a cool villain.
As long as they don't, I'm sorry, nothing against Jim Carrey. As long as he don't play him, I think we'll be fine.
Yeah. After that, I have Superman's girlfriend, Lois Lane, number 70, which is Catwoman's first appearance. I think that's her first Silver Age appearance. Again, I mean, it's just another DC book. I'm a fan of Catwoman. My daughter loves all the female superheroes, or even anti-heroes or villains. Doesn't matter. She loves Poison Ivy. She loves Catwoman, Black Cat. I mean, it's a cool book to own, I think.
Harley Quinn.
Yeah, Harley Quinn. Who doesn't?
They have a lot of both DC and Marvel have a lot of cool villains in the female kind of department. So, yeah. And then obviously in the Batman universe, what is it? I'm gonna butcher this. Nolan
Ryan.
Is it Nolan Ryan?
You talking about that one? No.
No.
Yeah, it was.
The Dark Knight?
Yeah. Well, anyways, after that I have Batman 121, which is Mr. Freeze's first appearance. I think that's a pretty iconic cover for the most part. It's a cool cover.
Yeah.
I think even more likely those books you're going to look into a lower grade for the most part, but I think even at a low grade, as long as you don't buy something that's too beat up, I guess, or missing like the cover, you should be fine.
These are books you can still kind of pay a reasonable amount of price and still pick up a decent grade. So I mean, if you're gonna spend $100 on, I don't think you can buy a 0.5 for $100, but if you're gonna get something that's gonna cost you $100 more, $200 more to get a grade and a half or a grade more, then it's kind of worth it to spend the money.
And I'm a big fan of it. As long as it presents well, I'll buy into it. Because a lot of these are their personal collection also too. So, as long as it presents well, I'm happy with that. After that, I have Batman 189, which is Scarecrow's first appearance. That's a pretty iconic cover too. Again, most of Batman books, they're all iconic villains, and most of them have really iconic covers. And Scarecrow, I mean, he's a pretty cool character himself too.
Yeah.
I mean, like I said, usually the characters that have good villains is like Spider-Man and Batman. I think they have most of the best villains, honestly.
Yeah, it's just, I think they're well-balanced characters. So being that they're not overpowered in the sense of their abilities. So the characters kind of in line with their abilities or where their power is at. Obviously, you have an issue with like Superman and the Hulk. There's just these big monsters that can go toe-to-toe with these guys.
Yeah, they're just beyond strong. So, I mean, who can really match up to those guys? The last book I have on the list is Werewolf by Night 32, Moon Knight's first appearance. Honestly, that book,
I think that's a speculation book. We can say that. We can say that one. That's kind of a book that I think we've been following all last year, and
it's always been a spec book.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's always been a spec book.
And they just keep driving that book up and up. So, I mean, that is a book that I can honestly say that is a speculation. I don't know too much about Moon Knight. I think he is a cool character. I think
he has a cool look to him.
Yeah. And they've talked about him being kind of part of the Netflix universe. So again, this is a book that's still great cover. and first appearance, again, you can't really go wrong with certain characters' first appearance, and this guy's been, I think this book's been hot for the last few years. It's steadily climbing up the charts. So if we can pick it up just this year and part of the minor key list, it's not really going to hurt anything, because again, if even from the speculation aspect of it, if he does come out and we do buy this book right now cheaper than what we can buy it here when that character pops up, then you're kind of in a win, because then you're going to try to collect backwards a character that you could have collected, and now he's hot, like a lot of these books, and then you're kind of spending more money than what you could have spent if you're kind of tactical about it.
And after that, I have, I guess, a goal for both of us. We're both trying to close up our Amazing Spider-Man run, which is, in reality, we want to close up as much as we can from 1 to 50. We have a list of what we do have from 1 to 50, but it's just a general. We're going to try to eliminate that whole section of 1 through 50. And as a matter of fact, today I went to the comic book store, and I usually don't like going to this comic book store. I'm not going to name it, because usually they have higher prices. But I guess today was a good day. I ended up picking up Amazing Spider-Man number 33, which is a pretty iconic cover. It's a really famous cover. I don't think anything spectacular happens in it, but it's just a very famous cover. I picked this book up, which, looking at it, it's not in the best of shape, but it's probably like a 4.0, maybe a 4.5, which I'm okay with that, because I never really see this book on the wild. The next book that I picked up, this one was in really good condition, I think. And I paid $80 for both these books, so I'm happy. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 45, yellow covers. A fan of that, and so you can see it. Look at it, it's in really great shape. I think it just needs to be honestly pressed, but looking at it, it's no lower than 7.0.
Did you tell them how much you paid for it?
$80 for both of them.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I think
I'm happy with that.
I think again, I'm naming this place. This place is here in
Houston.
In Houston.
You Houston guys know who we're talking about.
You probably do. You probably gonna know who it is. They typically kind of have a huge markup on their books, but there's times where you can go in there and catch these guys, and they can be a little bit generous.
Maybe because it was Sunday, I'm not sure, but I mean, it was a pretty good price for both these books.
Yeah. So now,
and again, that's just checking them off. If I could have found doubles, I would have got some for Chino, but you know,
that's fine. I mean, it works out like that sometimes. You know, it's a hunt. You know, he was out there hunting. I don't think I have an allowance yet to start off. I gotta ask the wife, which I'm sure she's okay with it. Again, I think I'm getting her more involved with the collecting part of it, and she's kind of she's assisting, because man, this is a full-time job. You know, you guys are collecting books. If you're collecting kind of like you're passionate about it, man, this can take up a lot of time.
It does take a lot of time. And honestly, what happened today is I went to the mall with my family, and then from there we went to a comic book store, and the first one I went to was actually closed. It was supposed to be open, but it was closed today. So I went to Plan B. I wasn't looking forward to it, but I guess it paid off. So I'm happy with that. And then my kids, they picked out some toys, and they looked at comic books, but they really wanted toys more than anything.
Yeah.
Okay, the next list we have, this is the bigger books we're trying to eliminate this year. And if we can get these books, I think we'll be in pretty good shape. Number one on the list is Fantastic Four number 1. I think we talked about in the last video, we don't own it. We want to own that book. It doesn't need to be up 2.0, 2.5, 3.0. I mean,
entry level, man.
Entry level's fine.
Like 1.0, if you can get a 1.5 for a good price, I think market value on those books, I think 1.5. We were looking at it earlier, was what, 4,700, 4,800?
About five grand.
Yeah.
It's
so
pretty expensive.
You're gonna pay about $5,000.
Book. So again,
hey,
start doing the math on these books.
What do you guys have it and wants to do a trade? You know, you guys can also work that out.
Some of you guys might have doubles. I'm not sure. And again, like I said, if you see something on our list, if you have a better suggestion, if you have another book in mind that we probably missed, shoot in the comment section. You know, we might have that book or we might not have it. If you're looking for a book and you have something that we're looking for, we can probably trade or we can negotiate something. Okay, so after that, number 2, I have Incredible Hulk number 1. Another big boy book, and that book itself is kind of like AF-15. I want to put it in the same realm, for me at least. It's the kind of book that you rarely find. This one I think is even harder to find, especially in a decent condition. This is just a book that honestly, it's it's the first appearance of Hulk. I'm a big fan of the Hulk. Some of my favorite characters are Spider-Man, Batman, Wolverine, Hulk. Those are like my top favorite characters. So it's on my list, and I know for him, it's on his list.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Hulk. So obviously, you know, we have we've been blessed that we have quite a few Hulk 181. So this is kind of like the one that we wanted to get last year again, but we got derailed. We actually, I mean, it benefited us because we picked up about, I have 2 copies, he has 2 copies of Hulk 181. So those are good trade bait books.
Or just good books that, you know, you can just hoard. And in the future, if it rises up, like you said, you can use it for maybe for a trade. Or if you're looking to upgrade, you maybe want to sell multiple copies, sell both your copies, I sell both my copies, and buy a nicer copy.
Yeah.
So it's just having, I guess, different avenues to reach our goal.
Yeah.
Number 3 on the list.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
It's Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles number 1. This book, it's first. We want to get the first print.
Yeah, that's important.
It's a very, very limited book, and honestly, it's not expensive until you get maybe like a mid-grade or something like that.
Yeah.
Then it starts jumping up in price big time. But when we grew up, that was one of our I guess our first way, or like our first gateway into anything that's really, like, I guess, superhero wise.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember putting on the little bandana on the eyes and trying to be a Ninja Turtle when I was small.
Yeah, I think, and then obviously karate and kung fu, you know, so it kind of had all the elements that
when we grew up
that you're looking at. I mean, we grew up. We want to say we're 90s kids still because we grew up.
I'm late 80s.
Yeah, and early 80s, but still, once we got into that age in the 90s when you can really comprehend this stuff, you know, the movies were awesome. The first 2 movies that came out, even the third one, you know, wasn't at the time when we were kids. We watched them all multiple times.
We owned the VHS. I mean,
this is going
back. Real old. Huh?
This is going back before some of these guys won't even know what VHS is.
Nah, and some of you guys will, because some of you guys are probably older than us or around the same age. Yeah. But I remember, we owned the VHS where you had to rewind stuff, and it took a while to get to the scene you wanted to get to. It wasn't in chapters.
And the other cool thing about it that it featured pizza, man. Who doesn't like pizza? So, and obviously, man, the pizzas that came out in those movies, man, I don't think I've seen. You know, they say they have them in New York.
That's New York style right there, from the looks of it.
But they don't have them here in Houston. So, I mean, just seeing that pizza, man, it's just mouth watering. You know, yeah. I'm big on food, so you know.
And I think for the most part, that's every kid's favorite food, pizza.
Yeah.
So, Ninja Turtles is on our list, and I hope we can get that book. Honestly, I mean, if we don't get anything on this list, but Ninja Turtles, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
Number 4 is Tales of Suspense, number 39, which is Iron Man's first appearance. To us, I consider that a pretty big book. Because Iron Man is a real cool character. I know for the most part, the movie really set him off.
Yeah.
In the right direction.
Yeah.
I think it cast a perfect actor. Mm-hmm. And people that weren't fans of Iron Man, you know, now are big fans of him. And he's played such a big part in all the comic book storylines, man.
Yeah.
He's always in the middle, you know?
He's always in the mix. He's nosy.
When Civil War came out, I mean, I hated him, you know, but, you know, he's a heck of a character. And he's filthy rich, so.
Yeah. So, you know, you have dreams and aspirations. You want to be like Tony Stark, you know.
The last book that I have on the list is Showcase number 22, which is Green Lantern's first appearance. I think Green Lantern's is a really good character. I think he's overdue for a new movie. I think the last movie wasn't too hot. I think
Ryan Reynolds.
I watched maybe a portion of it, and then I couldn't take it. And you know, times have changed. Movies are getting a lot better, whatever the case is. There's better CGI. But I think he's overdue, and I think he's just a very iconic character. And
they cameo. They had a cameo in this last Justice League movie, where kind of the Green Lantern corpse comes out. So, kind of the direction that DC's going, it makes sense.
No, I'm mad at you.
Yeah. Why?
No, because he told me to leave the movie.
Oh.
Before then, I was at the movies, and Chino had already seen the movie, and I texted him, hey, dude, is there anything after the movie?
No. This isn't the Justice League movie, bro.
Oh, no, but
no, there's
no. Okay, so nothing
to do with Aquaman. No.
I didn't see that.
Yeah,
yeah.
When they're in the whole kind of backstory of the villain, when they're talking about how they all came together, they come out on there. They show up on like a little area of it. You can see them flying in.
Anyways, if there is something after Aquaman, let us know in the comments because he told me to leave, so I'm not sure.
I didn't watch it. I think you can watch it on YouTube. So obviously a lot of it was on YouTube. I don't think it was anything significant. So
I just want a reason to be
mad at me.
Upset. So
okay.
And I think for the most part, man, that's our list. You guys let us know if it's a good list, if it's a bad list. Just hit us up with some comments. And I guess the last thing I want to say is sub up, man. Sub up to us.
Keep oh man, we didn't get to it. I'll get to it on the next one. We have a lot of new subs. I have a lot of people kind of leaving comments, so we appreciate that. Again, we're getting into kind of a format style where we want to give you guys content that you guys can come back and enjoy. We're not. I'm not trying to say that we're going to be on here every day, but for the moment, we want to do a format where it's certain things that we want to talk about, and also aspects of the comic book world that can interest or pique your interest, where it's just not like not as organized or just like a cluster of things. So that's what we're working on right now. This channel is going to have a lot of good content, but we're still figuring out how we want to do this.
Yeah, for sure. We're going to deliver like when we go out for the hunt. I think that's pretty fun. And if we can get some inside footage, we will. As long as they don't, tell us not to record.
Yeah.
And then you get to see a different aspect of it. You'll see. Hopefully, I can show you my aspect of how I look at the books and why I look at the books. And then, like I said, I usually pick them out, and then I let Jose do the talking. He's better at it than I am for the most part. I just kind of know. I do my research, and I know he does too. But it's just I really get deep into it, and when I go into a comic book store, I kind of have an idea of what I should pay for it. Again, when I saw these two books today, and at the price I saw them at, I didn't have to go do any research and see what they're priced at. I knew I was going to get a pretty good deal. Yeah. So, and then when I left the place, I started looking at what they usually go for, where the case is, and I found some books on eBay for a lot, maybe around the same price, even a little bit more, and they were a lot more beat up.
Yeah.
So, and again, this is something I picked up at a comic book store. It's on hand, so I'm happy with that.
Yeah. So we just kind of to end this, we think the last thing I want to talk about, if you are buying on eBay, just so you guys know, what we pay attention to is where the seller is located at. We actually found a really good deal on a Hope 181 because we have been looking for just to pick up an extra copy. And
Chino wanted an extra copy.
We found out that there was a seller here in Houston, so it was easy to communicate with him. And it just made sense with that particular book to find a guy that was local. We hit him up. We went out there. I had Manny kind of inspect because Manny's really better at the grading aspect of it than I am. So we went out there and we were fortunate to get that book. And it was a raw book at a really good price. I think we still paid under market value, and then we had it graded. And it just worked out. So that's kind of the little bit of insight that I want to share with eBay is, look at that. If it's, an hour away, 2 hours away, it just makes sense. Even if this guy was in San Antonio, it would have cost me $30 to go out there or $40 to go over there, 3 hours of my time, and still work out a better deal face to face with this guy. And we went in a public place, so it wasn't like I went to his house or his apartment. So that is one thing that I would share with you guys is I pay attention to that detail. And
not only that, seeing something in person is a lot different than seeing a picture of it. And Chino showed me the pictures that were online. I told him, look, dude, I'm like, this is what I think it is. I'm like, but pictures are deceiving. I'm like, if I can see it in person, I can get a better understanding of what we're looking at grade wise. And sure enough, when I looked at it, I told homeboy what I thought was the grade for that book, You know, and we talked, and then I showed him my point of view. He showed me his point of view. His grade was a lot higher than what I had in mind. And sure enough, you know, after we negotiated, and we worked around a good price. Whenever Chino took it to go get graded, I was on the money for the most part.
Yeah.
So again, I look at it from that perspective. If I can put my eyes on it, I can grade it a lot better, and I feel a lot better about making a purchase that way.
Yeah.
So that's just to give you guys an idea of what we do, how we do it. I'm not 100% on the money when it comes to grading, but for the most part, I'm really close to the ballpark.
And I think that's all we got for you guys. So again, subscribe, leave comments, hit the like button. Also, you know, just to add a little bit to it, you know, if you guys have something that you want to watch on this channel, we're up for suggestions. You know, this is catered more towards the community, to you guys. So obviously, we want to make content that attracts you guys, and if it's something that we can do and we can add it in our platform, then that works out.
Yeah, I think all I can say is we're out.
That's it. Thank you, guys.